If you have $3,000 to spend on a gaming PC, you can actually get the best system possible with the best GPU-CPU combo. So if you don't know what this means, you're gonna get the highest FPS possible on the whole market. And it can be overwhelming if you're a beginner and you try to build a PC yourself without having the PC knowledge, because you can get a system for $3,000 that will not perform as it should. For that reason, I will show you 3 different systems. One for gaming, the other one for content creation and gaming, and one more that's one of the best for gaming and you end up saving around $400. So I would recommend you sticking until the end of the video, especially if you want to build a PC at this price point. You will have all the components down below in the video description. That being said, let's start. So first I will talk about the components, and don't worry if you're a beginner, I will explain everything as simple as possible, and I will explain what this system is capable of running so you can understand everything. The first PC that I will show is my favorite one, and in my opinion the one that you should buy, which is the one that's the best for gaming and content creation. Also productivity work. So if you're going to do content creation, this is a no-brainer, you should buy this one and not the other ones. But if you're just gonna do gaming, I think this one is the best one anyway, even though it's not going to be the one that gets you the highest FPS, and I will explain why I don't think that's the most important part here. But anyway, for the CPU we have the AMD Ryzen 9 7900X. This is a 12-core processor from the new AM5 platform. If you know nothing about computers, the reason why I went with AMD is because if you get this platform, you can upgrade the CPU down the line without having to upgrade the motherboard. So for example, if you get the i9 13900K and you want to upgrade to a new CPU down the line, you will have to buy a new motherboard as well. So it will have to be 2 upgrades, and at the end it's gonna be more tedious. But if you go with AMD, down the line, let's say you want a new CPU from AMD that's coming in the next few years, take out the CPU, put the new one in on the same motherboard, and you will be good to go. This is one of the best CPUs for both content creation and gaming at 4K resolution. For the CPU cooler, we have the Deepcool LS720. This is a 360 all-in-one liquid cooler, which is gonna be enough for our Ryzen 9 7900X, and in my opinion it looks absolutely beautiful. Now if you want a PC that's all black with no RGB, or maybe all white but you want no RGB, you will have those alternatives in the video description, as well with all of the PCs that I'm going to mention today. Then for the motherboard we have the MSI Pro X670 plus Wi-Fi motherboard. This one is way more than enough even for content creation. You get 4 M.2 slots, which means that let's say down the line you want more storage, you can always upgrade with new drives. You also get great audio, which is important for content creation, so overall a great motherboard. Then for the memory kit we have the Teamgroup T-Create Expert 64 gigs of RAM, 2x32 of DDR5 at 6000 MHz. Now I'm gonna be honest here, 32 gigs of RAM is more than enough for most people, but honestly if we are building the best PC possible for $3,000, we wanna get 64 gigs, which is gonna be helpful for productivity work and content creation. For gaming, 32 gigs of RAM in my opinion is the limit. 64 will not give you any advantage, so if you're just going to do gaming, you can actually get away with less than this. For the storage we have 2 drives, the Samsung 980 Pro 2TB of Gen 4 SSD, which is really fast, and then the P41 Plus 2TB of Gen 4 SSD, so you get 4TB in total and 2 different drives. Then for the graphics card and the most important part on a gaming PC, we have the MSI RTX 4090. This is the best GPU on the market. You will get the highest FPS at 4K possible, so no matter if you play the highest demanding title like Flight Simulator at 4K ultra settings, there's no other PC that will perform better than this one when it comes to gaming at 4K. If you want to play at 1440p, I wouldn't recommend you going with the RTX 4090. In my opinion, that would be a waste of money. So if you want to go with 1440p, I recommend you buying a whole different system and saving a ton of money. If you want to play esports titles such as Valorant, Fortnite or CSGO, this PC, as you know, is definitely more than enough, okay? You will be able to run this type of games at 240 plus FPS on average, 4K at 4K resolution. And if you don't know how powerful the RTX 4090 is, well, basically it's 20% faster than the second best GPU on the market, which is from AMD, but it's much better in my opinion because the 4090 is much better for content creation and productivity work, and also for ray tracing. And if you still don't understand how powerful this is, for you to have an estimated performance on a 13 game average at 4K on ultra settings, the RTX 4090 achieved an average of 144 FPS, and the second best was the RTX 3090 Ti, which is last gen best GPU, achieved an average of 94 FPS. That being said, you're getting 50 FPS on average more than the last generation's best GPU. Then for the case we have the Montech Sky 2. This one honestly is a budget case at 95 bucks, but it's going to be more than enough for our 4090 PC, and it has plenty of airflow. At the end it really comes down to the aesthetics, so if you don't like the aesthetics of this case, it's all good, you will have more alternatives in the description, but in my opinion it looks beautiful. Honestly, the price is really decent, so I would definitely choose this one, but again, it's up to you and up to your aesthetics preferences. And last but not least, the power supply, we have the Superflower LEDX Platinum. This is going to be enough for our Ryzen 9 7900X and the RTX 4090, which are going to draw a lot of power. The total price for this PC is $2,970 by the time that I'm recording this video. Maybe when you're watching this, it's a bit more expensive or a bit cheaper, so I recommend you checking the latest prices. And if you want the best PC for gaming, I recommend you getting the AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D, downgrading to 32 gigs of RAM and going with 2TB of Gen 4 SSD instead of 4TB. The total price for this PC is $2,828. Now, if you just want gaming, this is the one I would recommend you going with, because with the AMD Ryzen 7 7700, a different CPU cooler in the D-Cool AG400, which is going to be way more than enough for our Ryzen 7, and then a 1050 watt 80 plus gold power supply, 80 rated, so really good quality for this PC. The total price will be $2,566, and the reason why I would recommend you going with this one if you want just gaming is because you end up saving around $400. Now, if you don't care about money, sure, go with the one that's more expensive. But if $3,000 is your limit and you want to stay under that and you want just gaming, this one is definitely a good choice. You keep the RTX 4090, so performance for most titles will be the same. The 7700, it's also great for content creation and productivity work. And like I said, if you want to do gaming, this PC is going to be more than enough for basically everyone. Now, maybe you have the money, but you don't want to build it yourself. Perhaps you don't have the time, or maybe you just don't want to go through the process of building a system yourself. That's completely understandable, and that's why I recommend you watching my video about the best Prebuilt PCs of the month. Now, that video has a ton of value because this month you're getting a bunch of Prebuilt PC deals, so I think the Prebuilt PC market is great at the moment, and I would recommend you buying as soon as possible before the sales end. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.